Welcome to podcast 43. Yes, 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 maybe, but yes.
Hello. Welcome back to podcast 43. My name is Fulton,
And my
and
name, and I'm Chris, and yeah, we're back. Talking,
talking shop.
talking shop, talking, Slaughterhouse-Five,
Mm-hmm.
the George Roy Hill movie. But first, let's talk about what we've been watching. What have
Mm-hmm.
you been watching, Fulton?
So it's been kind of a slim week. I'm not gonna lie. I got in a few. I actually got in more films than I thought I had. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I will first continue. For listeners that listened to the previous episode, it was our special Peter Bogdanovich triple feature. So after that, I was still excited to watch more of his work, and I checked out What's Up, Doc, um, from 1972, and I enjoyed it. I know me, you, and Reagan in our group chat, we kind of talked about the chase scene.
Yeah.
I think that, and I agree with you, Chris. It is very fun. Chris said that he. Well, I'll let you speak for the chase scene. Sorry.
I like the chase scene a lot. It kind of is reminiscent of Stanley Kramer's It's a Mad World. Just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the amount
I
of like
agree.
chaos on screen and like
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, like Bogdanovich likes to be is greatly inspired by a lot of things. He's a big movie watcher.
Mm-hmm.
Especially I mean that movie was probably about less than 10 years old when What's Up Doc came out, but I just love how crazy everything, all the crazy things that's going on, all the crazy stuff that's going on the screen and
Mm-hmm.
What's Up Doc. And I think that's probably I don't know, that's probably my highlight of the film. I like the film a lot though.
I agree with you. I do like the film a lot. The highlight for me might be the hotel room scene. Uh,
Uh,
when she's already in, or when I forget her name, Barbara Streisand's character is already in Ryan O'Neal's room. I really enjoyed that scene. I thought the chase scene went on for a little too long, but other than that, I really enjoyed the movie. Um, I watched a movie called The Taking of Deborah Logan, which the premise is interesting. So it's a found footage film about this woman who is struggling with Alzheimer's, and it was on Amazon Prime, so I just decided to check it out. Me and my girlfriend watched it. Have you ever heard of it, Chris?
I have heard of it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it like the whole possession thing is supposed to kind of be allegorical for or supposed to it's supposed to be like, oh, like taking as in like possession, that somebody gets possessed by like Alzheimer's, almost like it takes away like their sense of self.
Hmm.
Or am I looking too into it?
You might be looking to, well, there might be a reading on it. I just didn't really like the movie enough to ever really get like a good reading on it. I thought the movie was all right. I think in terms of found footage, I don't really think it excels. I think there's an interesting story in there, and you can tell that the filmmakers are kind of working with the budget that they have. Um, but I don't know. I can't. It's a soft recommendation for me, I'd say. But the only reason I normally I don't think I would typically talk about that one, but I just kind of wanted to use it as a segue. Because I thought the film was kind of found footage, not done to. Um, I don't want to say that it was found footage done wrong, but I thought I wanted to show my girlfriend a better example of like a better found footage film. And it's a movie that I've always really loved. And it's Chronicle, Josh Trank's Chronicle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when the first time I saw this movie, I fell in love with it. I thought it was just such a cool premise, and then the fact that it's found footage, but it never really feels cheap. The special effects haven't aged amazingly, but they're still you know, they're still passable. They're still fine. But I watched the director's cut, which I'd seen one time before, and I haven't seen this movie in a good few years, but I actually really came away with a better appreciation for it. Um,
Really?
yeah.
I haven't seen it since the theater
Hmm.
when I was like 12,
Yeah.
and I don't I've been staying away for it for that reason, that I don't
Yeah.
think not that I've really had kind of an itching to revisit, but just like
Hmm.
I'd be that it would almost tarnish it. I feel like it
I was scared
exists
about
in
that too,
yeah.
because I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. And the thing I like about the director's cut is it's not that much longer than the actual theatrical cut, but it just adds more screen time in between the guys, especially between Don DeHaan and Michael B. Jordan's characters, which I think is actually it builds out their relationship a little bit more. I don't want to spoil anything, but for people that know what happens, I think it kind of works better in that way, giving more context to what happens between those characters and everything. Um, or not really
Yeah.
context, but it builds out their characters where that holds a little bit more weight. Um, yeah.
It's
I'm sorry.
it's almost so like I saw Chronicle before I watched De Palma's Carrie.
Hmm.
Um and then like you kind of realize that it's kind of reminiscent of Carrie in a way,
I
but with a
hadn't
found
thought about
footage.
that, but I totally see where
And
I totally get that. Yeah.
yeah, and it's that's not to rag on the film.
Hmm.
Like I'm just saying that it's kind of kind of like taking that formula, but also kind of changing the perspective.
Hmm.
And it it's really a shame that I don't really think that that Trank hasn't really kind of reached to those heights
Again.
again as a director.
Yeah, I've been
and
hoping.
and it's like, I watched Capone over the
Oh
summer,
boy.
and that was really sad, to
Yeah.
see, because
Hmm.
it's like, I don't know, you have a pretty good cast. You have
The story is
y-
somewhat interesting, I'd say. I mean, I don't think the story that he follows throughout that film is amazing, but I think there's a lot of potential with a film about Al Capone
yeah,
having dementia. Yeah.
the mental deterioration of Al Capone from, what
Hmm.
was it yeah, it was like early onset dementia from like
Hmm.
syphilis, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's pretty, you can do a lot with that, but I think the movie also looks like it was, the budget, uh it's like flimsy.
Hmm.
It looks like a school like play
Short film.
recreation of the
Oh, okay.
20s.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it looks like a, God, I wish it was a short film, but but not that it's that long. But
Yeah.
yeah, well,
It
I
feels
don't
longer
know,
than it actually is.
but Trank, who knows? And I'm not like over the moon about Chronicle,
Hmm.
but like but it's like,
I think
prob-
Chronicle kind of hits a sweet spot for me. There's something about
mhm.
it that I really like. I might really like it more than um, other people might, but I still recommend it if no one is if you haven't seen
uh,
it or maybe you want to give it another shot. I mean, obviously, when you've seen Chronicle once, you kind of know what's coming, you know. So, but I still felt myself like sad in moments where the film wanted me to be sad. Like I still got emotional resonance from it, and then like I said, there's a few things that I really liked, but I don't want to go too in detail because like spoilers. But
and
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I probably like Forgetting Sarah Marshall more than like just about anybody
Hmm.
in the world, but
I still need
that
to see that one.
oh buddy,
Hmm.
you're I mean, who knows? Maybe it will do something for you.
For a special Forgetting Sarah Marshall episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would love to do that.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Um
But
okay,
what have you been
so
watching? Sorry.
okay, well, I don't know. I've been my viewing has been quite fruitful, and it definitely helps that classes that I have to take require different films to be viewed as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say that the thing that I'm just over the moon about is on my rewatch of Jean-Luc Godard's Masculin, Feminin. This is like if somebody made a movie and they said, "Hey, Chris, we put everything that you like in a movie. Enjoy." And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I I watched it in February, and I thought, yeah, this is all right. And then like I've just been thinking about it for the past 9 months or so, and I rewatched it, and I just thought like, yeah, this is incredible. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that Godard, it was his 11th film, and it was made in '66, and it's kind of like Godard capturing like the Paris youth of that era,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got one of my favorite actors, Jean-Pierre Léaud in it of 400 Blows fame,
Mm-hmm.
Antoine,
Yeah.
and so like I like how Léaud is kind of in a way like a self-insert Godard character. He's like this like very like this like left wing like radical type like coffee shop like chain smoking intellectual that like is also like a womanizer,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also these great like there's this great like mix up of styles, and it's like greatly inspired by like documentary type filmmaking, as well as like kind of a nice ethnography of like the culture of Paris at the time. And like he's like asking just random people on the street all these questions. It's just a blend of a bunch of things. It's got romance, it's got French 60s pop music,
Mm-hmm.
um it's got contemporary French politics. What's not to love, you know?
That one isn't. That one's not in the Criterion Collection, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's I have the DVD. There's no Blu-ray yet, sadly, but
Okay. Well, maybe they might do it since they just did Pierre Laflau. Flo? Is it
Pierre LeFou.
Pierre Lafou?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe he's
Uh
getting. Yeah.
this is
Maybe.
his follow-up actually to Pierre LeFou, which is,
Mm-hmm.
he goes from like kind of a vibrant color picture
Mm-hmm.
with LeFou, and then goes to another black and white picture. Um on top of them actually name dropping the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The movie exists in universe, in Masculine, Feminine, they say. What
Oh,
are
cool.
you? Yeah. So the Godard cinematic universe.
Nice. Nice.
But yes, I've been doing a lot of reading on it because I'm working on a paper on
Mm-hmm.
it, and yeah, I think the thing that I also think is the thing that I also think uh, needs to be talked about is kind of like how Godard views like gender and gender dynamics between characters in this movie, like how like Leod's like kind of Leod's character Paul is like kind of like, I don't know, just like I said, like a womanizer,
Mm-hmm.
that and like then like he falls in love with this like French 60s pop singer, Madeline, played by real French 60s pop singer Chantal Goya.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Godard, like he was like, I don't want an actress for this role. I want like somebody I
Who's
want
actually
somebody
lived it?
yeah, who's actually lived it.
Was that her
And so
only role, or did she go on to do other acting?
I don't, or let me check. I don't know. This was
Sorry, I
her
was just
first.
curious.
Oh, of course. This was her first role. I know
Mm-hmm.
that. Oh yeah, it looks like she did quite a bit of other stuff. She was in Charade, apparently. The
That
the
sounds really familiar.
the Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Um but the dynamics between the two, and how uh she's like kind of a she like he cares all about like politics like we need like kind of like radical change and stuff, and she's just like, oh, I love I want to buy a car with my money from my pop gig. I love Pepsi, I love Coca-Cola. And he's like, just talking about all this other consumerist stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a commentary on how it's like all these people will kind of become complacent and distracted by things, even if they do want to try to change. And it's like kind of semi-ironic because like looking into Godard's politics. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that movie's great.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's one of my favorites.
Nice. Were there any other films that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah,
Mm.
so I know it's hard, to follow up me talking about one of my favorite films with something else, but
Mm.
The Great Wall with Matt Damon. Uh
I've always wanted to see it. I guess I'll know I'll continue well, continue, sorry.
well, so it's not very good. The first
What?
30 yeah, I'm sorry. Not even Willem Dafoe could save it.
Willem Dafoe's in it?
Yeah,
Oh my
and Pedro
gosh.
Pascal.
Well, I don't know how I feel about Pedro Pascal. He's
But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but the first 30 minutes are kind of a nice spectacle to
Mm-hmm.
watch, just all the chaos going on the screen. And there's just like a bunch of like these like green minion type things that are charging at the Great Wall of China, and then they have to fend them off.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Damon ends up helping them, but you just kind of become numb to it eventually. And then
Mm.
like it just becomes like watching flashing images on the screen, and you're not really comprehending like what you're watching.
Is it
Also
because there's
another
so much going on?
There's so much going on and there's no organization. It's
Okay.
like that fight sequence in Avengers Endgame at the end. Like, because in
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, like for the most part, I was pretty okay with how they shot most of the action scenes, as they were
Mm-hmm.
like, kind of like well framed, kind of like one-on-one, maybe two-on-one combat sequences. And
Mm-hmm.
then it just all goes down the drain
Yeah.
when they're like, let's send in the portals and just CGI shit flying at the wall. Like,
Yeah.
boom. It's like that, but for near over an hour and a half. But
Oh boy.
the funniest thing though is that the soldiers in the Great Wall are they're color coded by by uh by like what their rank is,
Mm-hmm.
or like what they do, and they look like Power Rangers kind of. Um, but for some reason the women are just in blue. Like, it's like that's just like their role is they are women.
How long is it?
I want to say it's I want to say it's like an hour or
Mm.
like an hour 40 or so. Yeah.
Maybe one day. I don't know. I was
You're
hoping
gonna
it would be pretty fun with friends, but it doesn't sound like that's the case.
There's better Chinese action movies. I definitely recommend this other Chinese action movie called Wolf Warrior 2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a lot cooler. And I just think that like it's a lot more outlandish than like The Great Wall, because like
Mm-hmm.
there are some pretty cool Chinese action movies. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about like uh and I'm not saying that they're like good movies, but like they're just like a lot of fun, like
Yeah.
in the same sense of like an over the top Bollywood type.
Yeah.
But like Wolf Warrior 2 has this great opening scene where he like gets out a sniper rifle and he like snipes somebody from like a mile away, and like the camera travels with the bullet as it like goes to the guy's head, and it's just like insane. He stops like an RPG rocket with
Nice.
like the bed frame of a bed, and like the springboard catches it, and then he like throws it.
That's all I could ever ask for, honestly.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of
exactly.
Wanted, but I've never seen Wanted. I've just seen that shot so many damn times.
I've
Or
never
the
seen Wanted either.
maybe
Yeah.
we can do a Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Wanted double feature.
Well, they have so much in
They
common.
do. This is true. Yeah, I've seen that one shot of the traveling bullet. I think James McAvoy is like shooting a sniper or something, or I'm not sure. But
Hmm.
were there any other movies that you'd seen over the week?
Let's see. Um, Guess I could talk about I really liked I watched this short film, this Agnes Varda short film called Uncle Yanko.
Mm-hmm.
Um where it was shot she did kind of like a thing in the where she went to like California in the 60s, and she just kind of like made a bunch of short films, and this was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her Black Panther one, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should watch that. But this one was also pretty great. It's she goes to San Francisco and she meets her long lost uncle, her long lost relative, Uncle Yanko,
Mm-hmm.
who lives in like this community in San Francisco of like Greek people that like are really into like art, and they have these like super eccentric like boathouses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she just like interviews him, and he just kind of talks about like, oh, like what kind of art he makes, like his passion for art. Everything looks really great. She shot it really well, and then like um yeah, I think there's these great shots of Varda holding buttons, like kind of like she has like buttons on her shirt, and they say like Uncle Yanko, and then one says like he is Greek, he is great.
That's a pretty good button. A pretty good
Yeah.
phrase to put on a button.
But I really want to go to San
The
Francisco and see
sequel.
that. Yeah, you are Uncle Yanko too. He is Greek.
Retain.
He is great.
You want to go to San Francisco?
Well, I want to go to San Francisco and see if that neighborhood's still around, or I want to find out if it is, because it
Oh,
seems pretty neat. Like they got like
yeah.
these pretty rad houses, and yeah. So yeah, check that one out. It's like 17 minutes.
That's
It's
not bad.
great use of your time.
Are you getting I don't think me and you've ever talked about her collection. Are you getting that?
I've been on the I really want to.
Yeah.
I I've been watching a lot of her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think it would probably be worth it. Out of the director's box sets, I would probably get that one,
Yeah.
because I mean, the Fellini one seems cool, but I don't know if I'm that into Fellini
Mm-hmm.
yet. And then the Bergman one's cool, but like
I'm not that
I
into
th-
Bergman yet.
I
In
mean
order to
I
get that one.
yeah, I think I'd have to watch more, but I
Yeah.
like Varda a lot,
I
so
was
maybe.
I think I texted you. I really wanted to get the Tati one, but I hadn't seen any of his films, so I said, all right, I'm gonna watch his first one. And if I really like that, or if I see, like I know he's a world, yeah, I know that he's a very acclaimed director, but I just wanted to know and kind of see what his films are about, because I've heard stuff about his visual comedy, but I want to watch his first movie and kind of see how that goes, and then I might pick up that set.
I think the first one's Monsieur Hulot's Holiday. I've seen
It's
parts of that one, I think.
mhm. I've
I've
heard
seen
of Mononcle a lot.
Mon Oncle.
Oops, my bad. Yeah, that one I've heard of a lot.
Mon Oncle is great, yeah.
Hmm. I think you
And then
may have recommended that one to me, or I watched some video
I
essay on it.
I recommend that too. Yeah, I recommend that
Hmm.
movie to a lot of people. It's kind of like nice and light. It's a lot of
Hmm.
fun, but also has kind of a lot of substance as far as it's like commentary um, on like
On Matt Damon and The Great
on
Wall.
the color coding in Mon Oncle
Hmm.
is like the color coding of the
The
troops in the
enemies.
Great Wall. Yeah. But it's like a good like kind of commentary on like consumerism
Hmm.
and stuff, which and like a big inspiration for like Lynch or Tati in general was. that yeah, but anyways,
Mhm.
yeah, that's all I'll talk about. I don't wanna keep this. I feel like sometimes we go a little too long, and it's like my fault. Like,
No, I mean,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we just gotta feel stuff out like that. But we can move
Mhm.
into the news section. We have a good bit of news this week. Uh, so I'll start off by firstly saying this. Judd Patel has signed a deal with Netflix for his new film. At this point in time of our recording, it doesn't currently have a title yet, but um, Netflix keeps snagging up big people. Um,
The Queen of Staten Island? That's kind of a weird title.
did you hear about David Fincher?
Yeah, I have a lot to say about David Fincher, actually.
Yeah,
He
well, I
really
just
came
thought
out
since
swinging with
yeah.
with just awful takes all
I
around.
thought his Joker take was kind of funny.
His Joker take was kind of funny.
hmm
Yeah, that's true.
But he signed it for people that don't know. He signed a big 3-year deal with Netflix, which I don't really know what. I mean, that sounds like it's just one movie worth, but um, apparently he's working on a few different projects at the moment. But yeah, so he signed with Netflix and then came out and said that Orson Welles was like a hypocritical bigot. Was that
Uh,
or
he said, and I quote, blah blah blah. Orson Welles was a showman and a juggler who was ruined by delusional hubris.
it's quite a statement given that he didn't really know the man, but I guess you can
And
make up your own opinion based off of
I think it's just kind of
interviews.
a bit disrespectful when you're
Mhm.
making a movie on somebody. I mean, like, I think that the movie's going to be more of what I can at least garner from this statement. The
Mhm.
Mank, the movie that I'm talking about,
Mhm.
is going to be about how Orson Welles was like kind of lucky, and like it
Mhm.
was actually Mankiewicz, Herman Mankiewicz, who was like the reason why Citizen Kane was so good, or like it was like a lot more Mankiewicz than Wells.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm already not really too excited about Mank,
Mhm.
and I I feel like David Fincher is, just kind of somebody that I've really grown out of.
Yeah.
Exception of The Social Network, which is two mid people, Aaron Sorkin and David Fincher, coming together and striking gold in some
Mhm.
amazing chemical reaction that one can only describe as when sodium and chloride come together and make something not poisonous, salt.
Mhm.
So, uh, but I don't know. What do you think about these comments?
Um, I don't really know. I don't have too great of opinion on his Orson Welles comment. I think it's a little odd that he would come out and say it, but I guess it does make sense if he's making a film about Mank. I'm assuming he's probably going to paint Orson Welles as maybe the villain of the story, but I don't know. His thing about Joker, he said he hated its depiction of mental illness. I thought was a
Yeah.
little funny, and I would like to see what Todd Phillips had to say in reaction to that. In terms of David Fincher, I don't I don't think I've fallen out of love maybe in the same way you have. I still enjoy a good bit of his movies. I like Gone
I
Girl,
don't
but I know it's been
dislike
a
them.
while. Hmm?
I mean, I don't dislike them. It's just
Mm-hmm.
more like I don't really think that like I'm like over the moon about them the same way
You used to
that I
be.
was. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
Gone Girl is still like a fine movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's really made a bad movie. It's just
Yeah.
like more like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm sorry, who hurt you, dude? Like, like, like,
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of that it's his dad's passion project, so maybe he's is that's like his opinions are deeply like internalized in him because of his dad. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see till the movie actually comes out, which is
Oh, we
only in like a
can.
few weeks.
My dad really doesn't like Eddie Van Halen, but that
Mhm.
doesn't get in the way of me appreciating Eddie Van Halen. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well, that was just my crack at why he might be so pissed at
Yeah.
Orson Welles. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I just meant maybe he's heard it so many times that he just, I don't know. I
Well,
mean, who knows? Who really knows? I'm
no, yeah, who
taking a
does
crack at it.
know?
Yeah.
Wells is just somebody that that I think is like pretty much he like invented cinema in the way that we know it as. I mean, I know
Hmm.
it's kind of overplayed, for people to be like, "Oh,
It's the
Citizen
best
Kane," but
movie.
it really is like such an important movie. It's really I think people don't even tend to, and it's like to over like and then on top of that, not just Citizen Kane and what he did as far as how that movie is edited, some of those shots, like especially like that great low angle shot, or
Hmm.
the shot of him when he's running for governor.
Hmm.
Was it governor or mayor? Oh God, don't crucify me. He
It's
was
been
running for
so long since
political
I've seen it.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years.
I
But
think it
and
was
then
mayor.
well,
I
yeah,
want to
I think it
say,
was
yeah.
mayor of New York.
Hmm.
Okay, but then on top of that, Wells decided, he said he was one of the first people to say, you know what, fuck Hollywood. I
Hmm.
don't give a shit. I'm gonna finance my own movies. I'll do what I want to do. And it's like he made The Other Side of the Wind,
Hmm.
which which Netflix released in 2018. Um, Fantastic picture. Everybody should watch it. He got like it was financed by like the Iranian government. Shit's wild. Like
Hmm.
he actually, the reason why that movie took so long to come out actually was because the Iranian government had the film negatives, and they
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, so like that was like a whole thing. And so like he got that financed. Touch of Evil killed film noir. Like
Hmm.
that film single-handedly ended film noir as a subgenre. What do you have to show for it, David Fincher? What do you have to show for it? Oh, I make cool thrillers. Oh, I'm David Fincher. It's like F for Fake created essay filmmaking and is like so influential to like so many people that make videos on YouTube.
Hmm.
Even
I didn't
I
know this would strike such a passionate argument from you. I
I
don't
can.
mind it, but I didn't. Yeah.
No, it's just
Um,
because Wells is somebody that I really think is like, he's
he's
like
important.
he's one of the best,
Yeah.
one of the most important people as far as filmmaking goes. And to tie it all ties back to Bogdanovich. Well, because Bogdanovich and Wells were good friends, but Bogdanovich has a book on Wells, of just kind of like their conversations and stuff that I really want to read as
Yeah.
well. And yeah.
That sounds really interesting. Reminds me of the Hitchcock Truffaut book,
Oh yeah, that
which is
Truffaut
a,
Hitchcock book
yeah,
is
it's really good.
oh, you have it?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
I really enjoy it. Well, I'll move on to the next piece. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add to that? Or are you cool for me to move on?
No, I'm cool.
Okay. Universal has struck a deal with Cinemark, and the way this deal will work, in Cinemark theaters, if a Universal movie goes to Cinemark theaters and it makes 50 million or less, 17 days after its initial release, they can put it on demand. So I just kind of wanted to put that in there because it's kind of showing the evolution of our current situation with the pandemic and how films are being released. Because I feel like every day we're hearing about another movie that is either moving to streaming platforms or video on demand and is opting out of the theatrical experience or just getting delayed till next year.
Yeah, yeah. Soderbergh's next film is coming out on HBO Max. They're
Oh, perfect. I actually really want to see that.
yeah, me too.
It's like all we say, oh, let them say what they let them say what they want or something. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different movie that he's working on. I know he's working on a good little few right now.
He's always a
Um,
busy guy. Yeah.
yeah. Michael B. Jordan's new film, Remorse Heads, is heading to Amazon, which kind of ties in with what we were just talking about. And then me and you briefly talked about. I know me and you've briefly talked about this film a few times, because it normally comes up when we're talking about Charlie Kaufman. But the Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley sci-fi Doug Liman movie has official title called Chaos Walking, and now has a poster released. We'll see if this film ever reaches the light of day. It's been talked about in the not for here and there for a while now, I feel like.
Apparently Kaufman like kind of dropped out of it a while ago. They just
It's
had to give
probably
him
smart of him.
credit.
Yeah, probably a good move. Who knows? The movie isn't out yet, but it just seems like it's been in production forever, and we're just now seeing a poster. And this movie started filming, I want to say like 2 years ago, maybe even longer. I'm not really sure. We have some good news though. Sylvester Stallone will be in the Suicide Squad in some way, shape, or form. We don't know yet. Just thought that would be kind of fun.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to within that movie. And I hope I'm saying his name right, and I'm sorry if I mess it up, but John M. Chow, Chu, or Chu,
THU.
yeah,
Chew.
Chu,
Chew.
John M. Chu. Sorry if I messed that up again. Is making a live-action Lilo and Stitch movie. He's been tapped as the director. I'm assuming this is going on at Disney. Might be a Disney Plus thing they're working on.
I was honestly about to just stop caring about movies until you just told me that there's going to be a live action Lilo and Stitch. My faith has been restored fully.
Yeah, no problem, bud. I don't get this. I'm not surprised. It's Disney. I don't have too much to say on this, really.
Are they,
Why? I guess.
they need to do like super obscure Disney live action films from like the 70s, and then
Hmm.
they just make them into animated movies. I would like that a lot more if they were
That would
like
be kind of interesting. It'd be something. I guess it wouldn't be something different because they're capitalizing on their old stuff, but at least it wouldn't be. Um, I don't know. I just don't. I don't get the point in this, and this one seems pointless, along with a lot of the other live action remakes that they're making. But it could be good. I'm not gonna shut it down, but I'm not really
Fulton.
seeking this one.
Fulton's not going to be good.
Yeah,
It's
I
not going
don't.
to be.
I don't think it is either. I just don't like to shut down movies before I've seen them. But just going based off the idea,
Barry Jenkins can't even save these
yeah, and
movies.
you know how much that really just okay. Whew. Um, Netflix is well, Robert Rodriguez has, I think he's finished his new film, We Can Be
Yes,
Heroes.
sir.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
going to Netflix,
sir.
so we'll be sure to cover that one. Do you know when it's being released?
I think it's early next year.
Okay, cool. I know Pedro Pascal is in that one. I don't know about any of the other actors or actresses in it. This one really confuses me. Jake Gyllenhaal is going to, I think he's going to be the lead in Michael Bay's new movie called The Ambulance.
Uh, oh.
Yeah,
Um.
maybe it's a paycheck role.
I. I,
I don't
I
know. I
mean,
love Jake Gyllenhaal, and I don't really understand this one, this career move, but you know,
I. I've. I'll say it. Bay can do some. Bay can do some good stuff.
hmm I don't
I.
think
I
I've
mean,
seen enough of his good stuff.
I've sung the
Um,
praises about Armageddon
I
on this
I
very
legit am
podcast
gonna
a
I
few
am gonna
weeks
get
ago.
around to that one. That you did garner my excitement for that. And hearing that what Ben Affleck was drunk on the audio commentary.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then that sells me even more. Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley are again coming back together for another
The Spectacular Second.
Did you like that movie?
No, we talked about it a few months ago, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
remember I was like, yeah, I thought I remembered liking that movie, and then we talked about it more, and like I was like, hey, wait a minute, that movie actually kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't really. I finished watching it and I was like, eh. It's a weird. It's got a. I don't know. We don't have to get back into it. I forgot that we even talked about it. If that kind of sinks to the movie, but check it out if you want to. But Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley are coming back together, joining each other in a political drama called The Fence. That's really all I know about it at the moment. I don't know the plot or anything. Mads Mikkelsen is number one, or it's looking like he's kind of number one to the number one actor to replace Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts 3. Did we talk about? We may have mentioned it last week, but just to reiterate,
Yeah, that the Johnny Depp.
the one scene.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't talk about how the compensation, but we talked
Mhm.
about how he left the film.
Okay, so for listeners that don't know, I think this is a little interesting, but Johnny Depp got paid his full salary because he had already shot one scene for Fantastic Beasts 3. So
Yeah,
good job,
those
Johnny. That one was
those
got
act
that
the,
one.
those actors unions, uh,
They're really
that
pulling
contract.
in. um, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm sad to see Johnny Depp go. I mean, I still really like Johnny Depp, but I always thought he was. I just didn't really. I'm not a big fan of the Fantastic Beasts film, and I thought he was a little out of place in those. But that may have just been the way that he looked. He did not look good. I didn't like the character design for him, but Mads Mikkelsen, if anyone can really pull in and kind of carry that weight, I think he's definitely a good
Did
actor to
you
do that.
did you see that? Did you hear about that, or did we talk about that new Thomas Vinterberg movie with Mads Mikkelsen, Another Round,
I
where
really
he's
want to
like,
see it.
yeah,
Is it
that.
out?
No, I don't think it's out yet, but yeah,
Okay.
that's one of the ones on the top of my list for this year's movies that I'm anticipating the most,
Hmm.
because it's like Mads Mikkelsen um trying to drinking with his high school students and trying to be as intoxicated as possible just sounds like a real blast.
Hmm.
Um
It does sound very good. Um, The Rock is in talks to do a Scorpion King reboot. So
oh,
that's going on too. And then lastly, our last little piece of news is Jamie Foxx is producing and starring in a new film called The Burial, which sounds like it's going to be a court drama or comedy. I couldn't exactly tell, but Amazon has picked that one up. But I just thought I'd throw that one in there.
okay.
Yeah, I like Jamie Foxx. I haven't been staying current with him, but sometimes he's got some good roles, and you know,
He's
he's
yeah,
interesting.
I'm Jamie Foxx. I'm crazy.
I really want to see the movie that he directed. It sounds really interesting.
He directed something? What?
Yeah, he directed a movie, and apparently Johnny Depp is gonna. I think he plays a Latina. Oh no, not Johnny Depp. Robert Downey Jr. plays a Latina man, which I thought was
Oh no. Oh, All-Star Weekend. Oh
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could be
Oh,
wrong. I want to
that
say
sounds.
that he. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh God. Okay. Gee. Um.
I want to know when this movie's coming out. It's got a crazy cast. Robert Downey Jr., Gerard Butler, Jeremy Piven, Benicio del Toro, um, and a few others, just to name a few. Oh, DJ Khaled, French Montana. It.
DJ Khaled. At first, you said DJ Khaled, and I was like, whatever. And then you said French Montana, and I was like,
Hell
holy
yeah.
shit, dude.
um, it. Huh. It has 2 ratings on Letterboxd. one for 1 star, and one for 2 star. Who
Are
of
they
these
telling the
people?
truth? We'll never know.
We'll know shortly, hopefully. But
Yeah.
that's all the news that I have for today. If we're ready to move on to our feature film.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go for it.
So we're gonna take a quick ad break, and we're back.
We are indeed.
So our feature film for this week's episode is Slaughterhouse-Five, which came out in 1972, I believe.
Yes,
And
indeed.
was directed by George H. Roy?
George Roy Hill.
George Roy Hill. Oops, my
George
bad.
H.W. Roy.
Oops. It follows the story of Billy Pilgrim, and it's based off a novel by Kurt. How do you say his last name?
Vonnegut.
Vonnegut. Okay, and follows the story of Billy Pilgrim, and it shows his time in the war, his time after the war, and his future, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so for people that like haven't, I mean, like it's pretty much a direct adaptation of the book. And both me and Folden have read the book. And I would say we're both fans of it.
Yeah, I am. It's
but
just been a really long time since I've read it.
but even Vonnegut said this was like one of his favorite, or no, this was like a pretty, like as good of an adaptation you get from the source material. And if you read the book and you watch this movie, you notice like so many lines of dialogue are just like pulled from the book. There's just like it's pretty much a direct adaptation. However, that doesn't mean to say that it's a good movie, and I think that's kind of like the main thing that we're going to touch upon in this discussion, because I think
I'd
both
say so.
people feel the same way about it.
Yeah. I'll let you do your first impression since this is my pick. I know that's kind of how we do it, and then I'll jump in whenever, if you want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess all the performances were fine. I think my favorite performance was what's his name? What was his buddy, that the guy that was
In
a
the
teacher?
war. Oh,
Yeah.
Something Derby. Kurt Derby or
Edgar Derby.
Edgar
Okay.
Derby. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Eugene Roach as Edgar Derby was probably my favorite character. But for the most part, I didn't really think that I was like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, like, I guess Billy Pilgrim's wife, Billy
I was gonna
Pilgrim.
say she was probably my favorite just because I thought she had a lot of funny moments. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was supposed to be.
Well, she was intentionally supposed to be annoying, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
if you read the book, and then the book, of course, it's even more obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't think the movie looked. I thought that the look of the movie was kind of lacking too. George Roy Hill is somebody that, like, when I think of like when I think of a movie that like is like just pure cinema, if that makes sense, like just something that I think of like, this is why going to the movies is so fun, or this is why watching movies is so fun. I think of George Roy Hill's The Sting, and I think about like just how great of a time that movie is. Not feeling that with this one. As far as, but I mean, they're different movies, but like I had that in mind.
Yeah.
Right.
You had his previous work in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I can pretty much agree with you. I don't think that anyone is particularly bad in the film. I just think that no one really shines. And my main thing is that I think Billy probably could have been recasted, but I also don't think that there's a lot in the script for him to really work with. Like I just felt like the whole film felt kind of um passive to me. And I know that
Yeah.
it's supposed to be an allegory for life, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so I get the message of the film. It's just that I felt like I couldn't relate to the film a lot, and I felt that the main character, Billy, he could have been fleshed out a little bit more, especially earlier in the film, to kind of add a sense of relatability for a viewer to kind of get attached to him. Because through the film, I just kind of felt, I was like, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like more could have been done with it, and it could have been fleshed out a little bit more, and it could have been a little bit more interesting. And I'm in the same boat with you, where I don't really think it's a bad film. I just think it's kind of all right. Like I'm pretty down the middle with it.
Yeah.
I agree. It kind of I may have liked the visual style of it a little bit more than you, but I do agree it doesn't really do anything
It just kind of has
too
like a
eccentric.
drab, it's like a drab kind of 70s type picture. And
Yeah.
I think that I really really like how a lot of 70s pictures look with kind of like the griminess of it. But
Mhm.
I don't really think that it even did that too well. I
No,
didn't.
it did. I really like the I liked how it was edited, 'cause I like those scenes when it's kind of jumping between his life, going forwards and backwards, thinking of the I like the photo scene in the beginning when he gets kind of pulled out of the line of soldiers by the Germans, and a photo gets taken of him and everything. I can say one thing that I thought was kind of cheesy was the this is a spoiler, the plane crash scene.
Uh
I,
yeah.
not not the aftermath of the plane crash scene. I thought that was fine.
But when it
But
happened,
when it happened, they
yeah.
do a kind of a weird thing where I'm assuming they overexpose the camera, or they, or not overexpose the camera, overexpose the shot. It gets really white, but then they do like a freeze frame, but then it almost feels like a slow motion. Like I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was bad. That was kind of one of the lesser moments of the film to me. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I guess to I wish I had more to say about it because I've been really looking forward to seeing this movie for a really
I
long
have
time.
I have quite a few things to say about it. And
Hmm.
when you say, I mean, I almost can draw a better, I think a movie that does kind of the time passing better
Hmm.
is Frank Perry's The Swimmer from 1968 with Burt Lancaster.
Hmm.
Which is also an adaptation, but it's an adaptation of a short story. Um and I think that that does a better film, that has a better, it's less sci-fi-ish, it's more grounded in reality, but I think it shows like flashing forward the passage of time a lot in a lot better of a way, and something that I
Hmm.
appreciate more. But with the only difference is that it's about alcoholism kind
Yeah.
of, and the destruction that it takes on this guy's family, played by Burt Lancaster.
Hmm.
Uh so so as far as like um what to talk about in this movie, uh so here's why, like, so his Billy's wife is supposed to be purposefully incredibly annoying. She has kind of a raspy voice. She's always like kind of, I don't know, yelling, but it shows they show throughout the movie just how he doesn't really like care
Care. Yeah.
about her. Like first you see how he's like he just focuses on training his dog Spot, while she's like, "Hey, I made you dinner."
Hmm.
Hey, and it's like kind of like a montage of him skipping various meals and things to train the dog, even including when his first child is born. um,
And the
but
dog pees
then
on her.
but then there's a really good joke when Montana Wild Hack says at the end of the film um about his wife, which, spoilers, she died.
Hmm.
She says, "Do you miss her?" And he goes, "She died." And then she says, "What do you love? What did you love most about her?" And he goes, "Her pancakes." And I think that's
You're
really
just
funny.
totally oblivious. I did want to kind of bring up that car scene too.
Yeah.
What did you think of that car scene in terms, I guess for listeners, we're talking, this is another spoiler. I know we've already said the spoilers thing, so I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm sorry, I just brought it up. Her death scene, and before that, there's the scene on the highway where she's losing her mind, she's going crazy. I just kind of want to know
Yeah.
what you thought of that.
I thought that was probably one of the strongest scenes. Just because like there was kind of a lot to be kind of engaged in. I thought, yeah, she did
Hmm.
a good job of just kind of playing this erratic person that was just kind of like, oh my god, my husband, may die, or he may have died.
Yeah.
And then when she just like up and like drives away in the wrong way. It's quite funny, quite
Hmm.
comical.
I
If
always,
only. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I always thought it was funny. I'll say it after. Sorry, you were saying if
Oh, just
only.
like just oh, if only there were more scenes like that, more things that had me kind of engaged the same way that did.
Yeah. I agree. I always thought it was funny how whenever Billy would do something nice for her, she'd always be like, "Billy, I promise I'm gonna lose weight just for you, honey. I love you so much." And then I think
Yeah.
she progressively gets bigger throughout the film. That might not be a thing. I just remember there's like in that spot in the montage with the dog, I think she gets a little bit bigger in between takes, but I don't know
Per
if that's something.
Perhaps I didn't notice either,
Yeah.
really.
Um what
Um
I was gonna say is I liked the Paul Lazario character. I thought he was pretty interesting to watch on character, although he's a little one note. And
yeah.
I think um I guess well, we can talk about the allegory. Uh, this is kind of my reading of it. So does Paul represent death?
Um I think, yeah, Paul represents death, or like
Mm-hmm.
kind of as a figure, just kind of like a, yeah, like kind of a mysterious figure that, just kind of shows up and is always like looming over you
Mm-hmm.
in kind of a Lynchian way.
Yeah.
Like how like trying to think of like, yeah, like, I don't know, and in Lost Highway, like the mystery man,
Mm-hmm.
which I know you haven't seen, but he's just kind of like this guy that just like kind of shows up. He's like, "Hey, what up? Like, you about to die?"
I'm gonna try and get that one for Christmas. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about that one.
Uh,
Um, and then I also think Billy's philosophy about life is kind of interesting. How it's always like, well, shit kind of comes and goes. It's better to focus on the good rather than the bad.
well, that's why in the novel,
Hmm.
there's always, every single time that somebody dies, Vonnegut writes, "So it goes, so it
Hmm.
goes." Like, just things keep going, things keep
Hmm.
happening. Um, and I do want to talk about how I think that one of the things that hurts this movie the most is that you don't have Billy Pilgrim's narration. And I think that
Yeah,
and I
he
think
doesn't
that
feel like
that
he doesn't have a great sense of character.
and that's quite a shame, because
Hmm.
I think that, especially in that book, his narration and just his description of things is so important to like what that makes that book enjoyable, because I think it gives Vonnegut like, such a good way to like kind of write all these comedic, musings on things. And you don't have any of that in this,
Yeah.
and that's probably its biggest detriment to me.
Yeah, because like throughout the whole film, I always thought that Billy was kind of a little stupid, almost. I I just never. He always he almost feels like a yes man. He never really fights with anyone other than that one moment with his son, in the bathroom, and
Mhm.
that's not really a fight. That's more of him just commanding to give him over
The
the
porno
porno
mag.
magazine, which I thought
Yeah.
was kind of funny. And
Yeah.
I think it's funny to see the son kind of change in the background, and then he turns into a soldier. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's going back to my previous comment where I think like the script in terms of Billy's character it's just not super strong. I just don't really feel like I know who Billy is. And that's kind of bad when that's the main character to me, but
Yeah, I felt kind of like a blank slate, and yeah, it's too bad.
mhm.
It seems as if Michael Sachs, who played Billy, really is only in barely any movies.
Mhm.
Worked with was in the Sugarland Express.
I really want to see that one.
Yeah, it's one of the few Spielbergs that I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds kind of
Is
interesting.
is it like a true crime?
Uh,
I mean, I know.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's like a true crime type movie.
Okay, cool.
And then he was in Amityville Horror, and I guess some.
I think Amityville Horror is all right.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think I'm not in a rush. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
um, I guess my main point is yeah, I mean, I don't really think that this performance really warranted anybody going, "Oh my god, this guy, he's Michael Sachs. What a performance in
All I can say,
Slaughterhouse-Five."
yeah, I might have bad luck in picking movies. Cause like I want to pick something that me and you haven't seen,
Yeah.
but then like the issue with that is like, well, the movie could suck, and not that,
Hey,
yeah,
that's it. That's part of it,
yeah, true.
It's definitely better than A Field in England.
I
That's
would,
for
I
sure.
can agree with you on that one. I
Which
can, yeah.
as time passes, it fades more and more in my brain.
We can do a quick
Uh,
recap if you want, Chris.
good.
We can slam
Refresh
down
my
a
memory.
quick a QR quick recap for you.
How did you feel about like how much they talked about like the bombing of Dresden? Because like, that's kind of a big part of the
Mm-hmm.
book, and like, the reason being that Vonnegut fought in World War II and experienced that, and he was just so appalled by that happening and the innocent people dying. And do you feel like they touched upon it enough, or do you think that it was kind of overshadowed by other things in this?
I think it was mentioned a lot, but I don't think that they really explored the horror of that bombing.
Yeah.
Because like in like it just in its depiction of the bombing of Dresden, for those who may have not seen it, they go into a bunker, you hear explosions, they light a candle and walk out, and then they're told to clean up stuff. And so there is one scene that I suppose could be, showing the horrors of the war. They have all the dead bodies that I'm assuming they can't identify and they burn it. But just visually, it's not told in a very like. I don't. If does that make sense? Like I just
I
didn't think that it was told in a very visually and
Yeah.
emotionally compelling way. It felt. I guess it kind of goes back to what me and you were saying, or what you were saying earlier, where it's almost a little blandish at times.
Yeah, it's like I don't think it really gave way to like a lot of, I don't know, like, not it didn't feel like it didn't feel like it was like as big of a deal as Vonnegut made it out to be in the
Yeah,
book, or how I think it should have been talked about.
yeah.
Um
I think that moment in the infirmary, between Billy, who has been through Dresden, and then the maybe his name was DC. Maybe I might be forgetting his name, but he was kind of
yeah.
saying that it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I think there could have been a more interesting confrontation between them two there, but again, it's kind of just shown and dropped like immediately after the scene is
Yeah, it's
over.
just kind of I think that you could even really, I mean, I don't know if it would really be worth giving another crack at an adaptation because I don't really, I mean, but
Mm,
if you did want to, you could even make it more contemporary and you could do it, for like a rock or something, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always had the mindset that kind of think anything can be done with the right person behind it, and
Yeah.
that's always the biggest thing is finding the right person. I don't really have any ideas off the top of my head who could handle something like this, but I think I don't know. I think they could just do it different in terms of execution. It would probably be better. It would probably work a little bit better. Flesh out the character of Billy. And that might even be like what you were saying, adding in the narration that would help drastically with giving him a sense of personality and a sense of character too. Um,
Yeah. It's
so yeah,
it's the biggest issue. And that's what holds it back. So I think I think maybe and just watch like next week, like Netflix signs on to create a Slaughterhouse
Slaughterhouse
Five
Five
miniseries.
adaptation, a anthology, Slaughterhouse
Mhm.
Five.
A Vonnegut anthology series where,
That
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me honestly if
they did
HBO did something like that.
they got that
No, Hulu. Yeah.
Vonnegut.
Sorry.
There was I was gonna say, like, there's that Vonnegut adaptation of Breakfast of Champions from '99 with Bruce Willis that I've heard's horrible.
Mm,
Um it's like it hasn't gotten a re-release. It hasn't been gotten released since like VHS. Like
oof.
there's like a copy on YouTube, but I think Disney, Disney owns the rights to
Yeah,
it.
they're probably not gonna. They're
They're-
already stingy with like Blu-rays and stuff like that.
well, it's not even Disney proper. It's Hollywood Pictures, which was
Oh, okay.
Hollywood Pictures and Hollywood Pictures and Touchstone are like are their two like more adult type brands, and they don't really do a good job of just like kind of dropping those out, and like
Mhm.
especially when it's like this relatively unknown thing. Not that I really think that like people are clamoring for it, but
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. If it was last released on VHS, but maybe it's got a cult following, or maybe we can start a cult following.
maybe we can, yeah, let's
Add that to
let-
another. We'll add that to the wanted slash forgetting Sarah Marshall. Another triple
wanting
feature for the
slash
agers.
forgetting Sarah Marshall slash Breakfast of
Yeah.
Champions.
Um. Well, I don't. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add on about Slaughterhouse-Five?
um no, I just Vonnegut is a good writer. This isn't a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd really recommend it. Because
Um.
I don't really think that even if you did read Slaughterhouse-Five, I don't really think you'd get a lot out of this. And
Yeah.
that's my main problem with it.
Yeah.
It's like you could read Slaughterhouse-Five and you could watch this movie and you'd say, what was the point of me watching this movie? Or you could watch this movie without reading Slaughterhouse-Five and you'd say, I don't get why people like this book so much. I don't get why people like
Yeah.
Vonnegut so much. And it's like, I don't know. I don't like to fall into the trappings of the book is better,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well, in some cases, it's just generally true. You know.
yeah. That's what I
Um.
tell people about the Bible. And they
Nice. Uh. I think I'm kind of in the same camp. Check it out if you really want to, but I think the film just feels a little too passive for me to give a good recommendation for it. So
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where I sit. Read the book though. The book's pretty good. It's way more in depth and interesting than than the movie to its to its to credit the book.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I think on that note, I guess do you have anything else to say or
Oh, announce the pick for next week. Sorry.
oh, well, yeah. Well, fellow listeners. Our next film is Yasujiro Ozu's Tokyo Story, which is a widely acclaimed Japanese film from 1953. That both me and Fulton have been wanting to knock out. It's one of those essentials that people always say, gotta watch this. So get out your tissues. It's gonna be a sad one. I think
We're gonna be crying.
we're gonna be
most
crying.
of the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah. Y'all have a good weekend or good week.
Yeah.
And stay wavy.
All right. Bye, everyone. Stay safe.